magical mystery folk. We're back with another tarot unboxing. Now, it's been a while since I bought a tarot deck. This is mid-July when I'm recording this first half of the video, and I think I bought my last deck in, March. The last deck I bought was the Gentle Heart Tarot, and so that was either February or March, because I remember helping me get through my really hard time in April. And part of the reason I haven't recorded a video, and if you go back through my video history, May and June, that hard time is still continuing. Things they've leveled out. Not resolved, but here's hoping by the time this video releases, 6 months down the road, or whenever, by the time you're seeing this, hopefully life will have calmed down. So, in the meantime, I haven't been buying a new tarot deck. I bought a couple Oracle decks, but I haven't bought a new tarot deck. Did back some on Kickstarter that I'm really excited about, but they're not going to come out until next year. But today, we have the Crystal Unicorn Tarot, which I'm really excited about. My friend Doogsley, links down below, she does readings with this. She actually did a very, very thorough reading for me a couple of weeks ago with this deck, and I'm so excited to finally own it myself. It's been on the list, and I've been putting it off, do I really need another tarot deck? But it's unicorns! So, the answer is clearly yes. And, to make things even better, it came in such a shiny packaging. The way to my heart, first step, being shiny packaging. So, I was really excited to see that. I'm recording this right before movie night, so I'm trying to get through this quickly, which is why I don't have nail polish or anything on my nails for the flip through. Sorry, but we are going to watch Space Jam 2. It just released today, and I gotta go do that in a bit. One note about this deck. The creator of this deck only sells it on Etsy. She only sells it on Etsy. If you see it anywhere else, it's a knockoff. So don't buy this from Amazon. Don't buy this from, I don't know, any other sites that you would buy it on. But don't buy it, unless it's like a trusted, metaphysical retailer that's in your city or something. But don't buy it from the big box companies, because those are knockoffs. She only sells them on Etsy. And I'll have the link down below, of course, where you can buy it. But I wanted to make note of that because I did see it listed on Amazon, and thankfully I read the reviews that were like, this is a knockoff, and the cards aren't such good quality, and they're smaller. So I didn't get conned, but only Etsy. So, let's go take a look. The Crystal Unicorn. So nice. This is a nice pastel deck. I feel like it's going to be a great companion to my Gentle Heart Tarot. So, we'll see what it looks like, and I guess what the usage of this is. So the back, imagine, sparkle, manifest. Poof yourself into the magical forest of the Crystal Unicorn where anything is possible. Tap into your intuition and connect with your Crystal Unicorn guides to find answers that you need right now. Let this colorful and enchanting deck help you dive into the world of tarot, heal with unicorns, and get obsessed with crystal magic. Well, I'm already there. Pamela Chen, clairvoyant, a friend of the unicorns, and a crystal intuitive, created this mystical deck based on the Rider-Waite system. And there's a guidebook. Let's take a look, I guess. So we've got a guidebook that we'll take a look through. Doesn't have very lengthy interpretations. It's a very thin guidebook, but we'll take a look at that after. I love the back of this card. I just love the back of this deck. I wanted to use the unicorn cloth, but autofocus is saying, maybe not. There's too much detail on the cloth. So we've got the full, look at the sun up there, carrying the little sack, and there's a little cat with a moon crescent on their head. Look at that. I love it. And then like a little crystal sticking out, ready to set off into the world. The Magician. I love it. It's very traditional imagery. Not super detailed, but very traditional imagery. We've got, I love those flowers, and of course we've got all the tools that the magician needs. I like, again, the crystal just like coming out of the earth, even though there's clearly like a solid floor. It's just busting through. The High Priestess looks so calm. Just a nice blanket draped over her. Of course, we've got the crescent moon. We've got the two pillars. And we've got some pineapples and pomegranates in the background. That just gave me a flashback to the show The Magicians. Pineapples and pomegranates. There's a whole thing in The Magicians about peaches and plums, and I don't know, that just saying it like that reminded me of The Magicians. So here we've got the Empress. Look at her nice starry crown, and she's just lounging. She's got an emerald. She's got, again, the flowers and wheat. Was there a crystal on here that I missed? Oh, there is a crystal. Okay, I missed that one. So I guess there's a crystal on every card. I didn't notice that. I mean, it makes sense, but I didn't notice it when I've seen my friends use this deck. So we've got the Emperor, just cradling that little staff between the forelegs. And we've got, I guess, a ruby, looks like, and we've got these kind of like ram skulls on the corners of the throne, I guess. Hierophant. I have always struggled with the Hierophant. It's not a card that I particularly like because of like the very religious imagery, but then someone told me they were reading a book about how like the Hierophant in these days is more like a librarian, keeper of knowledge, and sharer of knowledge. And I was like, okay, I can vibe with that, being a librarian. So we've got two unicorns looking on, and the keys to knowledge right there. The Lovers. This is interesting because usually the Lovers card just has two, but then on this one we have like that overall figure, and here we have the apple, the serpent, and the fire. So clearly they're making a statement with this card. The Chariot. We've got sphinxes, and then the unicorn in this, it's a little big for the chariot, isn't it? I love it. Just going forward. Actually, it's interesting because the sphinxes aren't going forward, they're just laying there, but, you know. We've got Strength, the traditional lion on the Strength card, and the unicorn just not really looming over them, just like being over them, and just, you know, calmly. The Hermit. Been getting the Hermit a lot, needing a lot of alone time and introspection, and just holding the lantern with the star in it. I actually recently, this is going to be a tangent, actually recently just got a lantern with stars on the glass and stars on the top. So I vibe with that lantern. The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune. We've got a number of creatures, just like one, a Pegasus, I'm guessing that is. The head's kind of interesting. Maybe not a Pegasus. We've got a dog with wings. We've got a phoenix. Maybe. So we've got all these different creatures going on in the Wheel of Fortune, you know. Lots of factors in the Wheel of Fortune. Justice, of course, we've got the scales. We've got the Sword of Justice, and just sitting there and weighing your fate. The Hanged Unicorn. Not the Hanged Man, not the Hanged Woman. The Hanged Unicorn. You know, just laying there vibing. It doesn't look as relaxed as the Hanged Man usually is, but I'm just going to attribute to that to how do you make a unicorn look relaxed while hanging upside down? And we've got death in the armor, like horses used to wear going into battle, you know, before when we actually used horses in battles. But we've got the armor going forward, and like the traditional death card, we've got the sun coming up over the horizon, signifying, you know, dawn of a new day. Something ended, but something's going to begin. I've mentioned the death is my favorite card, so there you go. Temperance, pouring one cup into another. I really like how this card looks. This unicorn is an alicorn, actually. It's got wings, so that's interesting that they went with that imagery. But I really like how this card looks. I really do. Just like the balance, pouring one cup into the other, and just like, it's just so pleasant to look at. The Devil. I haven't seen this card in this deck before, so it's still like very traditional Rider-Waite imagery, just like in the style of this deck. We've got the Devil above, and then the two figures chained down below, but you know, the chains aren't tight or anything. The Tower. Ooh. The unicorn's just flying out of the tower. Traditional imagery. I like the crown. Like, the tower had a crown on the top, just like being completely just struck off. I've been dealing with, well, a couple tower situations. One welcome, one not. I made a video about the tower, actually, and you can watch that up in that corner. And I've come to terms with it, and ultimately the tower is good. Ultimately. Doesn't mean it's not really upsetting in the meantime, but I've come to terms with the tower, and here we go. That one, I mean, the ground isn't that far below. That one will probably, well, they might break their legs upon landing. I don't know. We've got the star. I am still in my phase of pulling the star and the sun constantly because I'm still going through it. And my cards are like, you're still going through it. There's the guiding light. There's the sun up ahead. It's coming, but you're still going through it. So here's the star. And I really like this one. I really like this card. How it looks in this deck. With the little tulips coming up and all the, like, multiple stars around. And we've got the moon. I like that the unicorn is the moon. I like that. It's nice. It could have been the two figures, but it's not. But so we've got the two wolves, we've got the lobster. I think it's supposed to be a lobster. I think it is a lobster. But we've got, I think, sometimes it's a scorpion, right? I think I've seen it as a scorpion. But yeah, very traditional imagery, but I like the unicorn as the moon. The sun. The sun and the star are my guiding lights. And there are sunflowers, which, my favorite flowers. I don't get to show it often on these videos, but I have a sunflower tattoo. And I'm actually, maybe by the time you see the second part of this video, I'm getting the sun and the star tattooed on my wrist. So maybe I'll have that by the time the second part of this happens. But I always love sunflowers, and it's just, it's carrying the banner, just waving in the new day, the brightness. Judgment is the big figure heralding you're coming to the end of the world, said in the most apocalypse friendly way I can manage. But you're awaiting judgment, and you're about to get the whole world, but you have to pass judgment first. And here we've got the world. We've got the circle, and then we've got the 4 fairly traditional figures in the corners. And this is the completion of everything. So now I think I'm just going to flip through the cards and enjoy the music. I might talk about a couple here and there, but I think the imagery in this deck speaks for itself. So let's enjoy some relaxing music. at the guidebook. Just do a basic shuffle. Try not to bend your cards. So I do the bridge shuffle. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so the cards just have brief explanations of the cards themselves. There's keywords for both upright and reversed, but it also says what crystal is there, and I'm assuming they are all chosen for the specific cards for a reason. And it was a ruby. It was a ruby. Oh, yeah, so through him and the energy of the royal ruby crystal that brings leadership, protection, and smart planning to your goals. So it does say a little about why each card was chosen. Oh, it looks to be just the major arcana though. But I'm excited about that. I didn't expect that. So, I'm really excited to read that. Just bought some selenite today. Oh, sunstone! I mean, no surprise for the sun, but I have a sunstone bracelet that I got recently, and I got it because I keep pulling the star and the sun, and I was just like, you know what? I do need some extra sun in my life, even though it's summer. But I spend most of my time in the office. So I got some sunstone for that, so yay! So, I'm excited to read this. Oh look, you could even do, like, some coloring. It's like a little coloring book page. Love it. So here's some spreads, and, just I love the coloring pages. I don't know if that's what she intended, but I love it. So, this is the Crystal Unicorn, and I can't wait to start working with it. So, let's go see what it's all about. Hey everyone, it is the future, and we're back to talk about the Crystal Unicorn Tarot. Now, can I just say, I love this deck. I love it so much. You know how after I reviewed the Gentle Heart Tarot, I said it had become a staple of my tarot at the moment. I had been using it a lot, and it had become one of my main decks. This is another main deck. I have been using this so much. Of course, I love unicorns. I love pastels, and I love crystals, so it's kind of a perfect fit for me. And it is a great deck. The imagery, as you saw in the flip through, kind of, very much mirrors Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, just, with unicorns. And I find it a really good deck for beginners. It's also, the cards are smaller than some of the cards that I have from other decks, but they're a good size. They're not small. They'll be good for smaller hands, and they shuffle really well. They're kind of they feel like regular playing cards when you shuffle them. They're bendy, but not too bendy, just enough to, be able to shuffle them. And the readings I've gotten with these have been so good. It's a very gentle deck, as you might think, but it's still, it's still going to tell you the truth that you need to hear. I have been working with it a lot, and I love it so much. I kind of had to put my last unicorn deck on the side because I got caught in a thunderstorm, and somehow the box wasn't wet, so I didn't think to take the cards out because the box wasn't wet, but somehow just the Hermit card got wet and the corner started peeling back. So it's fine. I glued it, but I had to wait for it to fully dry out before I could use it again. And I have been using this in its stead. And I just love it so much. It's definitely become one of my go-to decks. I will say for the guidebook, I don't really use this guidebook at all. I've looked at it a few times, and granted, like, I don't go by the guidebook a lot because I look at the cards and I know, like, the standard definitions. But I look at the guidebook for reversals a lot because I still struggle with reversals. I'm getting better at them. But I have found the reversals in this to be not their standard interpretation and not what I feel is the interpretation when I pull the cards. So the guidebook is nice for the information about like how the crystals correspond to each of the major arcana and everything, but I haven't found the guidebook to be really good for interpreting the cards, especially reversals. I find myself disagreeing with a lot of the interpretations of the reversals. So that's just one minor note on this. You might feel differently. You might feel differently about the reversals. But despite that, I love this deck. And I see myself pulling it out a lot for general readings in the future. That's what it's kind of been for general readings. Like the Gentle Heart Tarot is like, what does my soul need? These are more general, let me know what's going on. Let me know what I need to focus on. And kind of, what path am I on? What is my future at this moment kind of thing. So it's been good for general readings like that. The shuffleability, is that a word? Shuffleability. We're just gonna go with it. The shuffleability is really nice. The cards feel really nice. They kind of feel pastel, if that makes sense. But they're just so smooth. The cards are really sturdy, but not too sturdy. And I love this deck. I love it. And on that note, I am off to a masquerade where I made this lovely unicorn mask because can't have too much unicorn in my life, but I'm off to a masquerade. So I'm going to end this here. Have a wonderful, magical day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more. And all my links are down below if you want to check me out on other social media. Have a wonderful, magical day.